I'm tickled pink that things are rosy and skies are blue once again. Let the bygones go bye-bye. No more will I sigh or cry. I'm tickled pink, the moon is yellow, and I'm your fellow tonight. Soon we'll greet that red letter day, when I will pop the question and you say okay. Say then we'll be married in the month of May. I'm tickled pink that things are rosy and skies are blue once again. Let the bygones go bye-bye. No more will I sigh or cry. I'm tickled pink, the moon is yellow, and I'm your fellow tonight. Soon we'll greet that red letter day, when I will pop the question and you say okay. Say then we'll be married in the month of May.
Wish on the moon and look for the gold in a rainbow, and you'll find happy times. You'll hear a tune that lives in the heart of a bluebird, and you'll find happy times. Though things may look very dark, your dream is not in vain. For when do you find a rainbow? Only after rain. So wish on the moon, and someday, it may be tomorrow, you will suddenly hear chimes, and you'll have your happy time. So wish on the moon, and someday, it may be tomorrow, you will suddenly hear chimes, and you'll have your happy time.
To the town of our Frio rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make a slip. The stranger there among them had a big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. It was early in the morning when he rode into the town. He came riding from the south side, slowly looking all around. He's an outlaw, loose and running, came the whisper from each lip, and he's here to do some business with a big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. In this town there lived an outlaw by the name of Texas Red. Many men had tried to take him, and that many men were dead. He was vicious and a killer, though a youth of 24, and the notches on his pistol numbered 1 in 19 more, 1 in 19 more. Now the stranger started talking, made it plain to folks around. Was an Arizona ranger, wouldn't be too long in town. He came here to take an outlaw back alive or maybe dead, and he said it didn't matter, he was after Texas Red, after Texas Red. Wasn't long before the story was relayed to Texas Red. But the outlaw didn't worry, men that tried before were dead. 20 men had tried to take him, 20 men had made a slip. 21 would be the ranger with the big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. The morning passed so quickly, it was time for them to meet. It was 20 past 11 when they walked out in the street. Folks were watching from the windows, everybody held their breath. They knew this handsome ranger was about to meet his death, about to meet his death. There was 40 feet between them when they stopped to make their play. And the swiftness of the ranger is still talked about today. Texas Red had not cleared leather for a bullet fairly ripped, and the ranger's aim was deadly with the big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. It was over in a moment and the folks had gathered round. There before them lay the body of the outlaw on the ground. Oh, he might have went on living, but he made one fatal slip when he tried to match the ranger with the big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. Big iron, big iron, when he tried to match the ranger with the big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip.
Play the guitar, play it again, my Johnny. Maybe you're cold, but you're so warm inside. I was always a fool for my Johnny, for the one they call Johnny Guitar. Play it again, Johnny Guitar. What if you go? What if you stay? I love you. What if you're cruel? You can be kind, I know. There was never a man like my Johnny, like the one they call Johnny Guitar.
All right. This is the first time I will be attempting a watch party and analysis on this channel. Hopefully we do not get copyright stricken, struck, striked, stroke, smitten, smite, smote, whatever the hell the word is. But here we go. Welcome back, dear viewers. This is your gracious host, Kaine Walker, with another episode of Dread Quest with Fallout Season 1, Episodes 1 and 2. I'd been anticipating this or hyping this up, whatever you want to say, for the past 3 weeks. Well, technically, longer than that, because I alluded to doing something like this back when I attempted to stream the original God of War trilogy for the first time, which failed miserably due to terrible fucking emulators. But we're bringing that back as soon as I'm done with Okay, so I don't know if I'm gonna do it after one show or two, but it's definitely coming back. If I do another show after Fallout Season 1, it's gonna be right after that show, so don't panic. But anyway, I realize I'm a couple weeks late to the hype around this show, and that's because they dropped all 8 episodes immediately. So everyone else has already gone through all their analysis and their loves and hates with the show. I figured I'd do it in a different way. This way, no one can deny I've watched the show, because we're literally going to be streaming it here. But we're going to take precautions, of course, because copyright. I will be periodically stopping the footage to express whatever thoughts come to mind, because commentary is still legal. And by legal, though, I might only be halfway joking, I mean fully compliant with the YouTube terms of service. So now that I've warmed you guys up with some of the music from the Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas soundtrack, I'm going to go ahead and start the show. Here we go.
minding my business when out of an orange-colored sky,
Flash, bam, Alakazam.
wonderful you came by.
Great music choice so far. They stuck to the musical themes of Fallout so far. Probably the best part about the Fallout series is the music, to be completely honest with you. I'm just glad they stuck to that. And looking forward to see what else they do. Later on. I do want to be upfront about this, though. I have already seen pretty much the entire show. So if I talk like I haven't before, forgive me. I want to put that out there. That said, I still wanted to give everyone my thoughts on what I had already seen. So here we go. Continuing on.
I was humming a tune, drinking in sunshine, when out of that orange-colored view, I got a look at you. One look and I yelled, Tim.
Negotiations were scheduled to continue today as the White House had no comment about the president's whereabouts.
Ready to be of service, madam.
America and her adversaries crumbled this morning in Anchorage, Alaska. The specter of nuclear war facing this nation for 10 long years is final.
It's a party. Let's just focus on the party, okay?
Pretty green polka dot sky. Alakazam and goodbye.
Great song, man.
All right, birthday boy. Let's get a photo of you up here on Sugarfoot.
Why the hell is Cooper Howard working kids' birthday parties?
What else? Alimony.
What'd they say, Dad?
I'm going to take a brief second here to do
I'm lucky to have such a good helper like you.
something I
All right,
forgot
you
to do.
ready?
I didn't put the link for the original showing or the
Good.
I didn't put
Here
the
we
link
go,
for the
bud.
show on Amazon
Hey,
in
honey,
the description. I'm
honey,
gonna do that real
give a
quick.
Cooper. Let's get a picture.
You bet, yeah.
We're a little bit in the dark about what that exchange meant at this point in the show. I will not spoil anything, of course, but just know that most of the things they express early on are very intentional. So if you feel lost, it's the start of this show. And I noticed complaints like that across all media. Some people just have no story sense, and by that I mean they haven't experienced enough media to just know, all right, they're probably setting something up. Like, I understand that there's this concept for creators that involves trusting the audience, but goddamn it, sometimes the audience has to trust the writers too. Like, just fucking strap in and wait, you know? So if you feel like they're leaving shit out, they are, because you're going to find out later. Grognak the Barbarian. The link for viewing the show through Prime, through Amazon Prime, is in the description now. So, you know, if you want to, feel free to support the official release and, you know, digest this media on your own time. But pretty much I'm required to like block out most of the video just because, again, copyright. But you can clearly see things happening behind the screen as proof that I'm watching the show. So yeah. Oh my God, stop blocking the thing. Okay, right away. Kind of hard to believe that the glass got destroyed with the people that close to it, and people weren't just ragdolled. You know what I mean? Like, if the shock is strong enough to break that glass, it's likely strong enough to at least make your knees buckle. But they just didn't move. You know, they weren't moved by the shockwave. Like, it wouldn't stop at the glass. But that's pretty small though, so we're gonna continue. Oh, I missed that dialogue. Oh, damn it. The audio wasn't coming through. Fuck. Ah, damn it. I did it again. Oh, well. I could briefly recap what happened. This is good anyway. This is good anyway. I can talk about the fucking show and avoid copyright, stave off copyright a bit longer. So, initially what just happened in the beginning is one of the characters we're going to be following. He obviously is he's pretty integral to the story. I can't tell you who he is yet because that's a huge spoiler, but this guy is important, is basically the gist of it. A couple of details given in the scenes is that he's going through a divorce and he's doing children's birthday parties as a cowboy to pay alimony. He has his daughter with him because she helps him with the performance. A couple of guys chat shit about him because they probably know who he works for and who divorced him and his connection to whoever he works for. Again, I can't tell you who he works for. It's a spoiler. And after that, you know, they want him to do this thumbs up symbol. And he doesn't want to do it because, well, the news has been buzzing with the imminent nuking of the city. And he explains later on in this scene that if an atomic bomb is ever dropped and you see the mushroom cloud, you can use your thumb in the distance to measure the size of the cloud. If it covers up the mushroom cloud, you run for the hills. And if the mushroom cloud is bigger than your thumb, well, you don't bother running because you're going to be vaporized. After that, there was a scene of the bombs being dropped on the city immediately after he explains this to his daughter. And everyone makes a run for it. There's also a brief exchange with, I'm assuming, the husband of the party host. They have a fallout shelter bunker thing that they can go into to protect themselves from the nuclear fallout and the explosion from the bomb. So he rushes his family into the cellar, and then his friend says, "Let us in with you," because he's there with his daughter. The husband's host says there's no room. His friend insists, and then the husband's host turns violent, punches him out because, you know, he's trying to protect his family and there's no room. They only have enough supplies for the family. So he punches them both. Not them both. He only punches the guy. He doesn't punch his daughter. And then the scene breaks to the man we're following, played by Walter Goggins, hopping on his horse with his daughter and attempting to escape the bomb's blast radius by riding off into the distance on his horse, in case I didn't say that. And now we're here at the Fallout logo, and we're going to watch and see what else happens next after that, because they're setting up another character here. So, continuing on.
My name is Lucy McLean, and I'm an active contributor to the well-being of my community. Repair skills. I enjoy participating in the Young Pipers Association, which keeps me active. Science skills. Obviously, mine are nothing compared to my dad's, but I always relish a challenge. Speech skills. My primary passion is teaching American history with a focus on ethics. I also participate in gymnastics club, fencing team C, intermediate phys ed, and I dabble in riflery. Though I'm not very good. In my personal time, I enjoy taking walks and watching movies with my dad. Gardening, also with my dad. And participating in my family book club. We're still trying to get my brother on board. He'll come around when he's ready. My reproductive organs are intact, my hygiene well maintained, and yet I have been unable to find a suitable marriage partner. At least one I'm not related to. And we have rules about that for a reason.
That does not get less awkward the more I hear it. Oh, man. You'll see why she says that later, but the fact that she has to go over... man. I guess I'll say it now. She's pretty much the only vault dweller that talks like this. It's kind of odd because vault dwellers from the games just act like normal people. You know, they just act like normal people. Obviously, they're different from surface dwellers, if you're familiar with the games. But they don't really talk like this. They just kind of behave like normal people. You know, there's relationships within the vault. People start families and shit. Like, yeah, it happens, but my reproductive organs and all that shit, nah, that's no. But I mean, I'm trying to think. It wouldn't be out of place. Like a ritual like this wouldn't be out of place. You know, and you could chalk that up to this being a requirement for the council here. And they have to know about the status of that, which would make it fine. But the thing is, no, that's just how she fucking speaks. That's how she carries on in conversation with other people. You'll see it later. It's just also the cousin thing. Yeah, you'll see about that later. I think I said that already, but like I said, that shit doesn't get less awkward the more I hear it. Moving on.
So, it is with sound mind and body that I hereby submit my application to the council to participate in the triennial trade with Vault 32.
Also, the triennial trade, right? So they share 2 vault doors with 2 other vaults, and to my knowledge, that's not something that's ever been done in the Fallout universe. So that's something they kind of just set up for this show. Which I guess that's fine, whatever, but just pointing out that that's not really something that's really ever happened in the Fallout universe. And out of all the demonstrations they have already, why did they decide to do this setup with the 3 interconnecting vaults? You know, it's just kind of odd. Not a huge problem, but it's kind of odd given the example and the blueprint you have. Most vaults are just self-contained, but, you know, whatever. Moving on.
Feels a little tight. Won't be for long. On my wedding night, that dress got off almost as fast as Bert did. Oh gosh. After 10 years of cousin stuff, I'm definitely excited for the real thing.
Oh, Lucy. I am just excited for us to raise our kids together.
My little sugar bomb. Gosh, you look just like your mother.
So here you find out that her role in the participation of the Chinese trade, if that wasn't divulged in the dialogue prior, I don't remember. If so, my fault. But if you didn't catch that dialogue, here's where you find out her role in the Chinese trade is to be married to another vault dweller from a different vault. And we'll get a taste of her personality a little bit more, which honestly we already have. There's not much to it. And we'll find out some more details right after that. But yeah, anyway, continuing.
Yeah, I wish she was here.
Me too.
Were you scared? When you
Oh, she lost her mother. Her mother died. That's a key detail. That's what we're finding out here too. Her mother died. And she lives with her dad, which you already heard from the prior dialogue, but you know.
married, Mom?
Me? Terrified. Well, I'd never stepped foot outside Vault 31.
When did it go away?
The moment I met your mother. From that moment on, Vault 31 was a distant memory to me.
Overseer? Time.
Must be nerve-wracking. Your husband could be anybody.
I'm aware.
And as for his looks,
Who knows?
big butt, no butt. But of course, just superficial concern that what's on the inside that counts.
That's right.
And in that respect, he could be a cannibal or just like Cranston. But tumors.
Norman.
Sorry, Dad.
Gatekeeper.
Chet. Honestly, textbook tumbler jam. It's gonna take some time to fix. Probably best if we reschedule with the 32s until maintenance and I can.
What's going on?
Lucy, I love you.
We all know that, Jed. Messing around with your cousin, it's all well and good for kids, but it's not a sustainable long-term sexual practice, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Does not get any less awkward. So the grand reveal around the incest line from earlier is that she basically dated her cousin. And he fell in love with her. So yeah, that's man, it's not. God, I don't even know what else to say, man. Let me just continue.
Welcome, neighbors from Vault 32. I am Hank McLean, overseer of Vault 33.
Lee Moldaver, overseer of 32. Thank you for your hospitality.
We were sorry to hear of Overseer Jackson's passing in your telegrams.
When blight hit our wheat, we lost a lot of good people. But this trade will help us get back on our feet.
Yes, As arranged, we offer you seed and parts for machinery.
In exchange, we offer you a breeder.
So, who am I marrying? I'm Lucy. Do you have a name?
Monty.
Who do you suppose I really love? Who do you suppose I'm
So what's your sperm count? Your Vault's doctor must check every physical, no? And sperm is pretty important in perpetuating America, so...
Good evening and welcome to the proud denizens of Vault 32. We are bonded, not just as neighbors, but by a shared duty to keep the candle of civilization lit while the rest of the world has been cast into darkness. Soon, if our measurements are correct, radiation levels on the surface are dropping fast enough that the next generation, Lucy and Monty's children, will be able to recolonize. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna pause here. I should have paused earlier right after she said it, but pull the footage back if you have to. Yeah, the thing where she asks the guy his sperm count and says sperm is pretty important for perpetuating America. Yeah, that's the type of awkward shit I'm talking about with her personality, and it doesn't really leave. It's the kind of thing that extends past naivete. It's just awkward because it's not like clearly she knows what sex is or whatever, but it's just like the way she goes about it is just weird. It's just odd to me.
Well, after 200 years, we don't know much about what's up there. Desperation, violence, lawlessness. These survivors will need to be shown a better way. I'll admit I'm sometimes afraid that mean old world will change us instead. But then I look at my daughter. And such a beautiful bride. And her new husband. And I am not afraid. I feel hope. To Lucy McLean, and to this marriage, and to hope. Let's dance. Hit it.
Who can explain it? Who can tell you why? Fools give you reason. Wise men never try. Some enchanted evening, some enchanted evening, when you find your true love, when you feel her call you, let's dance. Across a crowded room, fly to her side. So listen, my friend, to all this advice
Show me to my new home.
This is us. Oh, isn't it great? Every big moment of our lives is gonna happen right here. Picture the Christmas mornings around the tree. We have everything with the hand-me-downs, an icebox, a blender. They even gave us... Okie dokie.
Just keep that coffee hot. Keep it hot. Be sure you make a lot.
I'll make a lot.
Your coffee hits the spot.
It hits the spot.
So keep that.
Yeah, in case you weren't aware, this is a sex scene. And it does make sense because she's just gotten married, and it's tradition to, what's the fucking word? It sounds very similar to that Mexican soup. Anyway, it's common to have sex on your wedding night, so this makes sense.
Coffee hot.
So keep it hot.
I love your coffee hot.
I love your hot.
So keep that coffee hot.
All right, look, I'm not going to fail to point out how weird it is that the guy is completely naked and she's still in her wedding dress. That's weird and clearly writer induced. You know, there's a lot of ideologically driven subliminal messaging in this show, and that's one of them. Male characters will be completely naked, but for some reason they find every excuse to keep the main female protagonist, which is another subliminal, by the way, fully clothed, even in context where it makes no sense for her to remain that way. There's another fucking scene where it actually makes a lot more sense because it's kind of like a what the fuck moment for her. But shit like this is just stupid. Like, so you mean to tell me the guy wouldn't be motivated to get her naked? You know what I'm saying? Even if she doesn't take her own clothes off, which is still bullshit. You mean to tell me he's fine with just having to fight through a fucking wedding dress skirt? No, that's stupid. That's writer-induced bullshit. People have sex naked. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? To the viewer who just came in, thanks for watching. Appreciate you. We've already analyzed a good bit of this episode. What time are we at? Oh, well, we're only like 20 minutes in, but it's fine. This is the scene where her brother wanders into the other vault. I forgot what their vault number was. He wanders into the vault the other people just came out of, and he essentially discovers that there's something wrong, and we'll figure out what that is here in a second. To be honest with you, more perceptive audience members would have been able to pick out what exactly they were, especially if they played the Fallout games. But the moment he realizes what's happened is about to happen right now, pretty much. So. Still fully clothed after having sex. That shit is so weird, bro. Shit is weird. So her brother just discovered that the denizens of the other vault are dead. That's a pretty odd scar for a vault dweller. Nope, another one. We have the gunfire in the distance. And we have the Geiger counter on the Pit Boy showing that he has very high levels of radiation. Okay, so this shit doesn't work, and I'm gonna tell you why. When you're irradiated, you don't get to pick when the Geiger counter notices. The Geiger counter is always active. As a matter of fact, the way they display it on the Pit Boy here is basically wrong. The Geiger counter, if you're familiar with the Pit Boy from Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and possibly Fallout 1, if I'm not mistaken, too, whichever one has the glow. I'm pretty sure that's Fallout 1. Yeah, the Geiger counter is constantly ticking, and you don't have to fucking... It's not even an app in the Pit Boy. It's just a gauge that's on the outside. And you can see the needle ticking further and further forward toward high levels of radiation. You can even hear it. I think I said ticking already. As you progress further and further into more irradiated lands. So I said all that to say everyone wears their Pit Boys all the time. Nearly all the time. And they were just at a large gathering. So why the hell wouldn't the Pit Boy have started ticking before now? Yeah, that's a plot contrivance. If things have to be forgotten in order for the plot to function properly, it's bad writing. So this entire setup is just kind of blown now. It's just kind of blown. Not to mention all the other details you could question about them being able to hide out in the vault where everyone's dead and there's no food for as long as they have. But we're just going to skip past that because we have enough to work with as it stands. Right? And there's no getting this past anyone who's actually played the games because the Geiger counter is always on. Like, you can't turn it off. So, like, oh yeah, another neat detail. Yeah, they've already met. They've pretty much already met all the denizens from the other vaults. So, why the fuck is no one reacting? Because, you know, there was an overseer in that vault that we saw that was dead. Why the fuck isn't anyone reacting to the fact that they don't recognize any of the other vault dwellers? Because they wouldn't. This wouldn't be the first time they've met the other denizens of the other vaults. You know? Like, that's a fair question. We don't recognize anyone. They wouldn't. Anyway, we're just going to let the scene continue to play out.
Raiders.
Fight scene ensues.
Just so you know, this was the best day of my life.
All right, so you guys didn't really see what happened there, but so I get why the writers did it. They thought it would be cool to have her break a glass against his neck and kind of just rip his throat out with it. The thing is, there's like a dozen kitchen knives she could have just grabbed to actually kill him, like, and make sure she killed him. And I'm just wondering why she didn't do that. You'll know why I'm saying this now when you see what happens later, but it's just kind of odd that she decides to grab a glass instead of, you know, a knife to just stab him in the throat, which would definitely kill him. But, you know, moving on. They're introducing the stim pack here, which is kind of cool. My thing is, you have this first aid kit with all this gauze and bandages and stuff, and you have the stim pack. And as soon as they use the stim pack, they don't need all the other shit. So why is it even in there? Why aren't first aid kits just brimming with stim packs? You know? Like, you don't need any other, because when they're no longer bleeding or anything when they take stim packs. And I'm not even sure that's how stim packs work in the Fallout universe. However, I could see why they would take that away, because like in gameplay, you use a stim pack and you're completely fine. The shit even mends bones. So it makes sense why they would take that interpretation. But there's this thing called ludonarrative dissonance. I think I'm using that correctly in this sense, where sometimes you have to separate what occurs in gameplay from what is actually lore accurate to the item in question. And I don't know if that's been distinguished in the Fallout universe. Might have been. But my point still stands either way. Why have all these bandages and shit when you could just have other stim packs? You won't need the bandages if you just use that. So, yeah. I've been live an hour and we are only 25 minutes into this show. But then again, that's well, nope. We have 50 more minutes after this. Damn it. Oh well. Another thing that doesn't really make any sense is how she was clearly, I mean, I get it was a moment of desperation, but she was clearly willing to kill that other guy, but for some reason she takes the non-lethal option in the vault. Actually, let me pull it back, because when she picked it up, all the real weapons might have been gone. So let me see. So she has the knife. Wait a second. I want to make sure this is correct in my analysis because I don't want to just put shit on the show that it hasn't done. Okay, so that looks like a syringer. And it actually does look like the armory has been picked clean, so. Okay, she took what she had available. Okay, that makes sense. That said, I would be scrambling to get a real firearm as soon as possible because, you know, as guys fall down, they drop their weapons and I can pick them up, but I digress.
Some enchanted evening, some enchanted evening, when you find your true love, when you feel her call you across the crowded room.
So, I feel like I already explained this, but you know, if you didn't catch it when she was attacked in her bedroom, they've been beset by raiders. The logistics of which, as I explained before, are very fucking shaky. But here we are. They've been invaded by raiders.
Then fly to her side.
Get that jelly mold out of here!
I mean, how about we're under attack? I think somebody wrote that thinking they were being funny. Get that jelly mold out of here. What? We're under attack. It's that easy. Like, who the fuck wrote that?
Some enchanted evening, some enchanted evening, you may see a stranger. You may see a stranger.
Why did he take so long to shoot her? Shit like that, like, fucks up stories for me. Like, you have a clear shot. You want to kill something, clearly. You haven't hesitated against anyone else. But when the main character's in front of you, it's time for me to fucking slowly raise my weapon while I have icing around my creepy smile. Just in time for someone to kick my gun out of the way. And it's fucking stupid. She should be dead. Or, actually, instead of freezing, she could have shot him too, you know, like, but it's still stupid. Like, either she doesn't hesitate and she shoots him, or he doesn't hesitate and he shoots her, and that's it. But for some reason, he chooses the stupidest option he has at his disposal. Whatever. we have the famous pregnant woman with the machine gun scene. Boy, it's just as stupid as the first time I saw it. She has a fork in her eye, which seems like it would be fucking agonizing. Barely reacting to the fork in her eye. Matter of fact, she got headbutted into the fork, into her eye, and she acted like it was a minor inconvenience. Heavily pregnant. Picks up machine gun, shoots it at raiders. Mind you, almost none of the men are this capable throughout this entire fucking invasion, unless they're a bad guy. It's just kind of weird. Like, all of the men just like went and dropped like flies, unless they were a bad guy. But this pregnant woman with a fork in her eye is fucking Action Jackson over here. Like,
Whoa, easy, pal. Sir, please don't make me use force. Oh, please.
See what I mean? He's just a coward. Sir, please don't make me use force. What? She fights for her life without hesitating, but this is stupid. This is a symptom you're going to see throughout the show, by the way. Unless they're a bad guy.
When you find your
Oh yeah, the guy she used to, the guy she had sex with is back. Choking the life out of her. Man, if only she'd grabbed a knife instead of a fucking beer mug or whatever that was, he'd be dead. Isn't it convenient that she didn't do that? Her dad saves her, and the guy from earlier that she injured with the glass mug got drowned in a pickle barrel. So she's saved.
Welcome.
I think I know who you are.
Everyone knows who I am. But do they know who they are? They are the product of one of life's tricky little choices.
Why the hell didn't he immediately recognize her before when he was handing off his daughter? Whatever.
So I'm gonna offer you a choice. Them or her.
Hey, stop! Dad! Please. We have to... No, stop!
You are my world.
You look like your mother.
Where are you taking him?
To the real world. You should see it sometime.
Oh, wait! Stop!
Maybe you should do what you do best. Run and hide.
So she wasn't gonna kill him? What was the point of that? Okay. Setting up a new character.
I try to make believe there's nothing wrong, but they're always asking me about you, darling. And it hurts me so to tell them that you're gone.
Hey. How's your nose?
I can still smell it. She's mostly blood.
Flesh is weak, but steel endures.
I know.
Go on.
Yeah.
If they asked me, I guess I'd be denied that I've been unhappy all along. But if they heard my heart, they'd hear it cry. Where's my darling when she coming home?
It is the duty of the Brotherhood of Steel to secure the wasteland. One day as squires, you will help knights find and identify pre-war tech.
Aspirant Maximus.
Can you identify this relic?
Rotor?
A circuit. The ability to defend yourself is but one part of your training. We are the finders and the preservers. Unless you know what to find and preserve, you are more useful as a corpse.
What model is that?
It's the T60.
Imagine getting to put on one of those every day.
I wonder why they're here.
I have to admit that the introduction of the Brotherhood here is a little bit boring, kind of, just a little.
Come on, I got something I want to show you.
Latrine duty's a two-person job.
I said, come on. Well, shit isn't going anywhere.
I do want to do this, just in case there's people who aren't you know, haven't watched the show yet and stuff. I do want to show you the character that they're setting up here. So Maximus is the character we're following now. Everyone's pretty much familiar with Lucy from the promotional material and stuff, so I didn't feel the need to show her, but this is Maximus. This is the character that that they're setting up right now. We're going to be following him with the Brotherhood of Steel faction. For everyone's knowledge there. I'll show you his friend here in a second. Let me get a better shot of his friend.
Come on, I got something I want to show you.
Latrine duty's a two-person job.
I said, come on. Well, shit isn't going anywhere.
That's his friend. Weird stuff happens late. Well, not weird in the way you're thinking, but weird stuff happens later involving this character. This is supposed to be a guy, I'm pretty sure, but you know, since, you know, ideology seeps into all our entertainment now, this is clearly supposed to be a trans man. Take that in whatever way that you may, but pay less attention to that and pay more attention to the details surrounding this particular character as we move on through the series. Now that I've shown you both of the characters that we'll be following, we can move on now.
Aspirin Dane? This was my idea. He
You're
didn't
being
want...
summoned. Come with me.
Every time I look at you, I fall in love all over again.
What's going on?
A bunch of us were chosen to get anointed.
Hey, what's your title gonna be?
Squire, tonight, Titus. And get this, we're going to the wilds.
Hell yeah!
Okay. So Dane, Maximus's friend I showed you earlier, was one of many Brotherhood initiates apparently to get anointed, meaning they're either chosen to become a knight or to become a squire, because that's how the ranking system works. You know, you Brotherhood initiate, then you can either become a scribe or a squire. Scribes are in charge of maintaining the annals and data and archives of the Brotherhood. Scribes are in training to become knights, and they shadow their instructors who have already become senior knights, right? But in this show, they do something a little bit different and arguably far less efficient than what the fuck is established in the games, but I digress. The point is, after hearing that his friend Dane has become a squire, we're supposed to see that he becomes jealous, like vehemently so, later on. And that's the point we're on now, and you'll see why I'm pointing it out here in a second. Really upset while everyone else is celebrating. Yeah. Okay. I don't even know if I can show that on YouTube, but his friend Dane has a bloody foot now, and it's because someone put something in Dane's boot. And the details around why that might have happened are coming up here in a second. But yeah. Razor blade in the boot, okay. And they blame Maximus immediately for whatever reason. We've pulled away from the Brotherhood of Steel plotline to go back to the Vault Dwellers taking care of their home after the siege of siege of raiders. So they're repainting walls, rehanging posters, cleaning up blood, etc. That's what they're doing now.
To every dark, dark cloud, and there's a smiling face in every crowd. All your troubles will soon.
Lucy is stapling her own wounds closed, which that gash doesn't seem like it's... that gash doesn't even look like you need staples for it. You could just sew that up, but whatever. I guess she doesn't have sutures.
Everyone's subtle.
I have a proposal for the assembly. We send a search party to the surface to find my dad.
To the surface?
We can spare 4 people from farm duty for up to 2 weeks, even with our dwindled numbers.
Sorry, Lucy, but you're talking about opening the outer vault door?
For under a minute. Okay, it's just enough time to...
Okay, I know we're brainstorming here, and there's no bad ideas in a brainstorm.
Maybe
but that's not something that we ever do or have ever done, never, ever, ever.
I know that.
I know we're all hurting right now. But our first priority has to be to maintain the security of this vault. That means not opening any of our doors.
Well said, Betty.
Yes. Thank you, Betty. Okay, let's move on.
They don't want to find Dad. If they did, they wouldn't get to be in charge.
All right, so after the attack, Lucy wants to leave the vault to get supplies and search for her father. They don't want that to happen, and that sets up one of the main conflicts that kickstarts the show.
Hey, Davey. How's your day going?
Bad as everyone else's.
The elevator. Take care of Norm till I'm back, okay?
I can't. I'm going with you.
Chet.
What you're doing is insane. You don't even know which way to go. It isn't like the vault out there. It's big.
Chet. I'm not letting anyone else get hurt on my behalf. Okay?
Lucy.
Okay. Here we go. Just tracked him. And I'll do the same to you if you try to follow me.
I'm too chicken. Thanks.
Bringing him home.
Alright, so we've reached the part of the show where part of the episode where she steps out into the wasteland for the first time. It took us a while, but we're here now. And we still have about 28 minutes left to wrap up this episode.
Stop! Lucy! Are you mad? Young lady, come back here right away! Lucy! Lucy, no! That didn't work.
Excuse me. Yeah, here we are in the wastes, kind of.
Okie dokie.
We have given you a name, food, education, a place in the world. So, we expect you to give us the truth. Why did you join the Brotherhood?
To hurt the people who hurt me?
I understand you're a friend. You're aware of their injury?
Yes.
Do you know who did it?
No.
Your fellow aspirants say it was you.
No, I wouldn't.
Why not? Your friend was promoted, you were not. You have ambitions, don't you?
Speak.
I didn't do it. I did not. I wanted it to happen. Is that wrong?
Yes. Yes. Violence is merely a tool. We use it to bring order to the wasteland, but violence against a brother of steel is a sign of weakness. Are you? Weak?
I don't want to be.
You have anything else to say in your defense?
I want to thank you. Just for your guidance and for giving me a home. I had no place in the world, so if I can help the Brotherhood make it better, Eden, or whatever. Even if it means giving my own life, I'll do it. And I'd be grateful to the Brotherhood for giving my life meaning.
Good boy. And you will be Knight Titus' new squire.
What? See, it's stuff like that, right? So what was the point of all of that? You know? Well, like, what was the point? So let's take a look at the series of events, right? So Dane gets a razor blade in their boots, which who the fuck doesn't check their boots before putting them on? That's the first thing. And immediately they blame Maximus when it could have literally been anyone, which seems like something that just happened because the plot needed it to, because it literally could have been anyone. Maximus isn't the only friendship Dane has. And what else? Well, mostly that. Maximus isn't the only relationship or friendship that Dane has. They immediately blame him, and then clearly they believe he betrayed one of his brothers, right? So why wasn't he punished? It's just kind of odd. It doesn't make any sense. He's shown the desire to cause harm to others who succeed where he fails, even if they're a close personal friend. So why would any of this make him worthy of a promotion? You could argue that it's honesty, but I mean, honesty doesn't mean I trust you. I just know what you're capable of. And what he just said there and told him that he's capable, not necessarily willing, but to me, that'd be enough, because I run an organization. I don't have time to play fucking guessing games. To sabotage someone else, even if they're a close personal friend, to succeed over them. So, like, again, why does that make him worthy of a promotion? It's just things like that, you know, like this kind of rubbed me the wrong way about the show. On top of the fact they kind of rewrite the entire purpose of the Brotherhood of Steel. The Brotherhood of Steel doesn't give a fuck about returning order to the wasteland. They see the wasteland and the world they live in as a lost cause due to the nuclear apocalypse. And the post-apocalypse is obviously, you know, the rebuilding phase of the nuclear destruction. Their mission is to be a bunch of, I don't know if I'm using this word right, technocratic isolationists who preserve old world technology, and essentially their policy is God bless the Brotherhood of Steel and nobody else, in which they are perfectly willing to kill outsiders in order to keep their locations and their techniques and their whatever knowledge or items or weapons they have shrouded in mystery. They'll kill for that. So this restoring order to the wasteland shit is just not a part of the Brotherhood mythos. Don't really know why they decided to go this route. I mean, I know why they put them in the show. It's because the Brotherhood of Steel is popular, but I mean, you kind of have to use them correctly in order for fans of the actual franchise to give a shit, you know? But whatever. Oh, and in case you don't know why it's significant that he's become a squire to Knight Titus, Titus is one of his bullies. So, yeah. I don't imagine the elder knew that when he made him the squire to Titus. But what is safe to assume is that Titus has recently gotten knighted and needs a squire, and Dane was supposed to be the squire to Knight Titus, but since Dane can't be a squire, which makes no fucking sense. Wait, no, let's talk about that for a second. Why would an injury like what Dane just got make him unable to be a squire anymore when they just need to heal before being reassigned or something? Yeah, it's just, yeah. So he just got the promotion over Dane for essentially sabotaging his own friend, even though he didn't do it. But yeah, still, that's what it seems like on the surface. Like they literally just gave Dane's promotion to him when they don't have to, because there's going to be other knights, and that person can still be a squire. But whatever. None of this made any real sense to me. It just kind of happened. Anyway, we get to see his relationship to Titus here in a second.
It's not so bad. At least here no one steals your rations. They said I'll still have a place at the Brotherhood. I heard you got my spot.
You know who did it?
Well, I've narrowed it down to any one of those assholes. They asked if it was you.
Yeah, they asked me the same thing.
I told him you wouldn't hurt a fly.
Aspirant Maximus, it is your most sacred duty to protect the Brotherhood. After which, it is your most sacred duty to protect the mission. After which, it is your most sacred duty to protect your lord, Knight Titus. Do you accept?
information comes from the highest clerics in the Commonwealth. It is believed that a denizen of the Enclave has escaped.
The Enclave's real?
What?
And that he has with him an object of profound potential to harm our nation or to save it. Each night in this Legion, we'll search a section of the wilds for this target. Brothers, we exist for moments such as these. Go forth with honor.
All right, yeah. So if you haven't gotten it thus far, I should have said this in the beginning, but this show was not really written with hardcore fans of the Fallout series in mind. It wasn't, because now the Enclave is involved somehow, and the Brotherhood of Steel is keeping them prisoner, and whatever. Don't know what they're setting up. Well, I do. I did watch the show, but we don't know, assuming we came into this blind, what they're setting up with the Enclave thing, especially if you're someone who hasn't played the games. You have no ideas. You have no fucking clue what that means. You don't even know what the Enclave are. Barely know what the Brotherhood of Steel is, but we're going to continue.
And may the shape of the future be cut by your sword.
Approximation of the target for your lord.
You're dismissed, aspirant.
I don't know which grave. Well, Slim, we looked through the...
Oh, sorry about that. Paused it by accident.
Don Pedro has our friend dug up once a year, cuts some pieces off and puts them right back in the ground.
They're setting up another character, and I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you. This was the guy we saw in the beginning at the children's birthday party. And this is fine. I saw a couple people complain about him becoming a ghoul because he was so close to the explosion he should have died. And that would be a good argument if in Fallout 3 there wasn't an optional mission to blow up Megaton, and one of the denizens who lived in the heart of the fucking city, like it's Megaton is literally just a city or a small village, if you want to call it that, that has an atom bomb that is inactive, just planted in the middle of it, right? So you have an optional mission to detonate that atom bomb or arm it. That way it can be detonated from a distance. If you go through with that quest, blow up Megaton, you see the explosion from the top of Tenpenny Tower, another location of Fallout 3. If you go back to explore the wreckage after the explosion, highly irradiated at this point because a fucking atom bomb just went off there, you'll find a character has survived the explosion and is now ghoulified because you met them first as a human if you went to their general store. But they survived the explosion and they're a ghoul now. So like that, so I don't have a problem with him being a ghoul after the result of the explosion because that happens sometimes in Fallout. Even if people are right next to the bomb and it blows up, like they can survive. So I don't have a problem with him being a ghoul after that. So the logistics pan out historically, comparing it to the game. On top of that, radiation in Fallout doesn't really behave like normal radiation in the real world. It's more magical. Some people get strange abilities as a result of radiation. You know, anything can happen with radiation in Fallout. So the rules of it are pretty flexible. So yeah, I don't have a problem with him being a ghoul. Just a complaint I heard.
Bingo.
Shit. You're telling me this supreme badass we're looking for is a godforsaken mutant?
Hell, some respect. That's your prospective co-worker you was talking about, and our ticket to a big payoff.
Oh, you said you knew this guy.
I said I knew of him. My pop worked with him once.
Your pop? How long has this asshole been moldering in the ground?
How do we know he's not feral?
That is why we brought our little friend. A feral ghoul can't abide a chicken. If he goes for him, we kill him.
All right, so they dug him up.
Well. Why, is this an Amish production of the Count of Monte Cristo, or just the weirdest circle jerk I've ever been invited to?
Welcome back. I'm Huncho. Now, you don't even know us.
No, I do not.
Does that count? Should I shoot him?
Would you shut the fuck up? We got a proposition for you. A bounty came down, a huge one, enough to be a last score for me and whoever's with me. Yeah, now somebody made a run from the Enclave.
Oh, what makes you think I'd give a good goddamn about that?
It ain't where they's running from. I figured you'd be interested in. It's where they's running to. Dead Witch, Moldaver, in California. That's where you from, ain't it? Originally, I mean.
And what the fuck would you know about where I'm from?
Well, that don't sound like gratitude, do it, boys? How about we put you right back in that hole so Don Pedro can have his fun with you for the next 30 years?
Well, I tell you what, boys. Whenever somebody says they're doing one last job, that usually means their heart's not in it. Probably never was. But for me, well, I do this shit for the love of the game.
Pretty cool fight scene here with with our man's the ghoul, which again his name is stupid because there's hundreds of ghouls in Fallout, but you know, whatever. Like there's so many, they're their own race of people in this universe.
You right, friend, about one thing. This right here was your last job. My paycheck wasn't quite what you expected, but, well, you know what they say. Us cowpokes. We take it as it comes.
I think you just buried that guy alive, if I'm not mistaken. Metal.
Crawl out through the fallout, baby, when they drop that bomb.
All right, so that's episode 1 of Fallout Season 1.
When your white count's getting higher, hurry, don't delay.
Not really much of a reason to watch the end credits. I'm gonna go ahead and pause that. I was worried I would underestimate how much time was needed to actually properly analyze the show, but there's already some glaring issues present in episode 1. And with the track record of modern media nowadays, I don't have any hope for the preceding episodes. There were some things I like about this show. I liked the music. I liked the presentation of, well, I can't even tell you what it is that's coming up. Presentation of some of the enemies I liked. The performance of the ghoul, he's probably the best thing about this show, to be completely honest. The best character in this show, to be completely honest. Did I already say I like the music? Yeah, I believe I did. But anyway, as far as what they've done to set up the world building is not bad, actually. Even if it's kind of deviating from the source material a little bit, the techniques used so far aren't terrible. That said, there are certain things with the writing itself that kind of kind of blows up in the writer's face. The writer's face is, excuse me. Also, with the world building, they kind of get away with a lot because this is a visual medium. It's not a novel, but so far that's really all I have. We have our character synopses. We know who we're following. We're following Maximus, Lucy, and the Ghoul. So yeah, that's who we're going to be looking forward to seeing again. And as the story progresses, I'll get into deeper character analysis of each person's personality and their motivations. But this is only episode 1. We've gone 2 hours, and this was an hour 50-minute episode, right? An hour 15-minute episode, excuse me. So yeah, that's all I got. Keep an eye out for a lecture that I'm almost done editing. I made it to the questions section, and that should be up before the weekend is out. Tomorrow I'll be back with episode 2. Would have been doing episode 2 right after this one if it was shorter, but it wasn't. Either way. This has been your gracious host, Kaine Walker, signing off, and I will see you all again next time. Peace.
Hey, everybody, did the news get around about a guy named Butcher Pete? Old Pete just flew into this town and he's chopping up all the women's meat. He's hacking and whacking and smacking. He's hacking and whacking and smacking. He's hacking and whacking and smacking. He just hack, whack, chopping that meat. Butcher Pete's got a long, sharp knife. He starts chopping and don't know when to stop. All you fellas better watch your wives, 'cause Pete don't care whose meat he chops. He's hacking and whacking and smacking. He's hacking and whacking and smacking. He's hacking and whacking and smacking. He's hack, whack, chopping that meat. Ever since Pete flew into town, he's been having a ball. Just cutting and chopping for miles around. Single women, married women, old maids and all. He's hacking and whacking and smacking. Oh, Pete! Hacking and whacking. He loves that meat. He's hacking and whacking and smacking. He just hack, whack, chopping that meat. Wakes up in the morning, 5:30. Chops from sunrise to sunset. I don't see how he stays alive. Meat's gonna be the death of old Pete yet. He's hacking and whacking and smacking. He's hacking and whacking and smacking. He's hacking and whacking and smacking. He just hack, whack, chopping that meat. The police put Pete in jail. Yes, he finally met his fate. But when they came to pay his bail, they found him chopping on his cellmate. He's hacking and whacking and smacking. And no. He's hacking and whacking and smacking. Just hack, whack, chopping that meat. That's what your Pete has been praying this man. Tried to chop down the wind and the rain. Just hacks on anything he can get. Say, turn this record over. You ain't heard nothing yet. Well, they love